Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6. If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now. This is going to be a changing day in your life. Stand by, A.
Welcome to today's show. Today we'll be discussing the problems that can happen when a couple that is very close to each other disagree about the best book ever. Our guests today are Richard and Gloria Topaz. Let's hear their story.
Well, I just can't understand how anyone can be so thick-headed. I mean, I read this great book, and I just wanted to share it with my husband, and he won't even listen. So I'm gonna call Dr. Bill, help us settle this once and for all. Dr. Bill? My book is Skeleton Man by Joseph Branch. This story is about a girl, Molly, and her family. Molly's dad told her many stories about her Native American relatives, and one, in particular, was very strange and scary. It had a skeleton man in it. It was about a crazy uncle who was so hungry he ate himself and his family, all but his niece, who escaped with the help of a spirit guide in the form of a rabbit. This story helps Molly later on when her mom and her dad go out and they don't come back. And a strange uncle who Molly has never heard of comes and takes her away to his house to live. Molly thought it was weird that he was so skinny. Like maybe he was the skeleton man in her father's story. When she goes to bed, he locks her in her bedroom, and then she hears him coming up the stairs, and then he stops at her door and just stands out there listening. Her uncle makes her breakfast, lunch, and supper, but she is suspicious. Molly thinks he's trying to fatten her up. And she doesn't know why. Molly loved going to school just to get away from her uncle, but hated the weekends, which meant time alone with her uncle. Weird, isn't it? Molly watched him closely because he spent a lot of time in the back shed. So many questions for Molly. And you. Will Molly's parents ever come home? And what is her uncle's really after? So you can see why this is the best book ever. So much action and suspense.
How interesting. We will hear the other side of the story after this commercial break.
I know I'm fat and I'm very sad and I need a good diet.
Maybe the Contender diet system.
What? I used to be fat like her.
But I went on a diet like Katunda in this book called Katundra by Stephen Cosgrove. This book was an inspiration to read because in this book there is a sad cat in the woods who lives in an old broken down shack. She gets made fun of for being fat, so she eats even more. After a while there is nothing else to eat, so she goes hunting. She finds a mole and he helps her go on a diet, just like I did. This was me before I read this book, this was me after. So don't eat when you're sad, exercise like these girls.
Remember, eat healthy.
And exercise. 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 Remember, eat healthy and exercise when you're sad, and you'll be happy, like us.
Do you got a first aid kit handy? Do you know how to patch up a wound? Tell me, are you patient?
We're back. Thanks for staying with us. Today we have been talking to a couple about the books they love and they just can't agree to disagree, and it is causing great emotional upset in their relationship. Let's hear the other side of the story.
Me, thick-headed, she is the one that won't even listen. I have tried and tried to tell her that Because of Winn-Dixie is the best thing ever written. She just goes into the kitchen and slams the cabinet doors and refuses to give me the time of day. I'll tell you why this book is so great. Well, I think my book is better than my wife's book, Skeleton Man. I mean, who wants to hear about a skeleton anyway? I'm not a soft man, but I just love the book because of Winn-Dixie. It is about a dog who meets Opal, and they become best friends. Opal's mom left when she was very, very young. Opal's dad is the preacher of their church. Opal wants to keep Winn-Dixie, but he is too big and the landlord doesn't like him. Winn-Dixie is afraid of storms. When there is a storm, Winn-Dixie freaks out. There is a woman, which they think is a witch, but she is a very, very kind lady. Opal makes really good friends with Gloria Dumb. Opal throws her a party, and after a while, a storm begins, and Winn-Dixie runs away. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, better. Opal also makes friends with Otis at the pet store, because Opal wants a collar for Winn-Dixie, but it is too expensive. So Opal works at the pet store sweeping and dusting, and after a while, she gets the collar. Opal also makes friends with Miss Franny, the librarian. Miss Franny always tells her really good stories. So now you're going to have to read the book and find out if Winn-Dixie comes back.
Well, we have heard both sides of the story, and now we will try and get these two back on the same page, if you know what I mean, after this very special announcement.